Hey, night owls. Tonight's story is a long one, so get comfortable. This one's about a place I can't stop thinking about. An old hospital, a night shift, and a list of rules that should never have existed. Stick around till the end. I've got some thoughts on it. Let's get into it. Have you ever taken a job that felt wrong from the first shift? Not, I hate my boss wrong. Wrong in your teeth. Wrong in the part of your brain that still remembers being an animal. That's the job I have now. I'm the night security guard at St. Marrow Hospital, the old wing, the one they were supposed to demolish 12 years ago and never did. You won't find it recommended anywhere. No reviews, no signage past the second floor. The staff who work days won't talk about the night shift, and the night nurses who used to work here don't work here anymore. A hospital is supposed to keep people alive. Machines that beep, lights that never go dark, doors that open for anyone who needs help. That's what I believed when I took this job. But the old wing doesn't keep people alive. It keeps something else contained. And some nights, I'm not sure the building wants me walking out of it in the morning. Last night wasn't a normal shift. Normal nights at St. Marrow are already strange enough that most people would quit within a week. I've made it 2 years, and I used to think that meant I was strong. I was doing my usual 1 a.m. walkthrough of the basement archive. Old patient files nobody's touched since the 80s. Filing cabinets rusted shut. A smell like wet paper, and something sour underneath, almost like rot. I was moving a stack of decommissioned equipment logs when I found it wedged behind a cabinet. A single laminated index card, edges yellowed, taped there so long the tape had gone brittle and brown. No hospital letterhead, no name, just 5 rules written in a shaking hand, like whoever wrote it hadn't slept in a week. Rule 1, lock the west stairwell door at exactly 11 p.m. If it rattles afterward, don't open it. Patients don't knock that way. Rule 2, the hallway lights on Ward C must never go fully dark. If they flicker, reset the breaker immediately, even if you have to go down alone. Rule 3, after midnight, do not answer any page over the intercom that calls you by name. If it sounds like someone you love, it is lying to you. Rule 4, you must clock out at exactly 4 a.m., not a minute early, not a minute late. Rule 5, on the night of a full moon, room 313 will have a visitor. Do not acknowledge it. Do not try to stop it. Do not look inside. I stood there under the flickering basement bulb, and I laughed. One of those thin, nervous laughs you do when you're trying to convince yourself something's a joke. Maybe an old prank the night staff played on new hires. But the longer I held that card, the heavier the silence in the basement got. Like the building was listening to see if I'd believe it. And somewhere in the back of my mind, I realized something worse. I was already following some of these rules, without ever reading them, without ever being told. The first rule seemed easy enough. Lock the west stairwell at 11 p.m. I'd done it 100 times without thinking twice, so I did it again. Walked down, turned the deadbolt, heard it click home. At 11:04, the rattling started. 3 slow pulls on the handle. Then, nothing. A silence so complete I could hear my own pulse in my ears. I told myself it was a draft. But then a voice came through the door. Low, male, careful in a way that didn't sound practiced, so much as learned. Like someone reciting words they didn't fully understand. Hey, I think I'm lost in here. Can you let me in? I didn't answer. My jaw locked so tight it ached. Something about the voice told me, with total certainty, that it didn't belong to this hospital at all. Please, it said again, softer now, almost pitiful. I don't have much time. You have to let me in. My hand actually drifted toward the deadbolt. Something old in me, some instinct to help. Nearly won. Then I remembered the card in my pocket. Rule 1. I stepped back instead. The voice kept going, shifting, scared, then gentle, then something colder underneath both. But I stayed quiet, and eventually, it just stopped. No sigh, no footsteps retreating up the stairs, just an absence, like something had simply switched off. At midnight, the lights on Ward C died. Not a flicker first, just gone, all at once. The whole corridor swallowed into black. My radio crackled with static that wasn't quite static. Underneath it, something that might have been breathing. Rule 2. Reset it immediately, even alone. I took my flashlight and went down that hallway, heart hammering in my throat. The breaker room was at the far end, past 6 closed patient doors that were supposed to be empty. Halfway there, my flashlight caught something at the very end of the corridor. A shape, standing still, too tall, arms hanging just slightly too long at its sides. Where a face should have been, there was only a smear of shifting gray. No eyes, no mouth, just the suggestion of a head, watching. I kept my eyes forward and my mouth shut, and I walked past it like it wasn't there at all, every nerve screaming at me to run, to look, to do anything but move toward a breaker box 8 feet from that thing. I flipped the switch with a hand that wouldn't stop shaking. The light slammed back on, humming, alive. I looked up. The hallway was empty. I need to explain something about myself here. I didn't take this job because I love hospitals. Nobody takes a graveyard security shift in a condemned wing because it sounds nice. You take it because you're running from something. 2 years ago, my wife and daughter were in a car accident on a wet highway outside the city. I got the call at 2 a.m., and I remember the sound of my own voice asking the nurse to repeat herself, like the words might rearrange into something survivable. They didn't. After that, I couldn't stand houses that felt too full of things they used to touch. I wanted somewhere silent, with no memory of them in it. St. Maro paid well, asked no questions, and nobody there knew my name before I walked in. Now I'm starting to wonder if I found this place, or if it found me. I sat down in the security booth, coffee shaking in my hand, trying to convince myself the rest of the night would be quiet. Then the old wall intercom crackled to life. A voice called my name. Clear, warm, familiar in a way that hollowed out my chest. It was my daughter's voice. Rule 3 burned in my mind. Don't answer, even if it sounds like someone you love. But my body didn't care what my mind knew. My legs were already moving toward the intercom panel before I caught myself. "Daddy," it said, soft as a bedtime whisper. "Come find me. I'm scared."
Tears were on my face before I realized I was crying. Every rational thought screamed, "This cannot be real," while every broken piece of me screamed, "What if?" I gripped the desk until my knuckles went white and forced myself to say nothing. The voice kept pleading, gentler, then insistent, then, for a second, something underneath it that wasn't gentle at all. And then it cut off entirely. Silence. And on the intercom's dust-caked screen, letters appeared, scratched in like frost. "Do not break the rules." By 3:45, I was hollowed out. I just needed to survive until 4 a.m. And I told myself that over and over like a prayer. Then I remembered what night it was, full moon, Rule 5. Room 313 sat at the end of the East Hall, supposedly empty, sealed since a renovation years back. But that night, light spilled out from under its jaw, flickering like candlelight. Though there was no candle in that hospital, I heard the door creak open on its own. I did not look. I did not walk toward it. I stared straight ahead and counted my breaths until the light beneath the door went dark again, and the smell of rot and old flowers faded from the air. That's when it flipped, the whole shape of it, all at once, the way a nightmare makes perfect. Horrible sense the moment you wake up gasping. This wasn't a prank. Someone, once, had broken one of these rules. Maybe the lights went dark too long. Maybe a door opened that shouldn't have. And in that moment of failure, something in room 313. Something the hospital was built to contain, not cure, took what it wanted. Now, on every full moon, it comes looking again, not for answers, for the debt that was never paid. And if it can't find the one who failed it, it settles for whoever's standing watch in his place. Me. I didn't let myself breathe again until my boots hit the pavement outside. Exactly at 4 m. The sky hadn't started to lighten yet, just that flat, uncertain grey that makes the whole world look unfinished. Behind me, the old wing stood dark and silent, one dim light burning in a third-floor window that, according to the building plans, didn't exist. I followed every rule. I stayed quiet when it mattered most. I survived the night, but I keep asking myself, how many more nights can I do this before the one mistake finally comes? And worse, what if I didn't end up here by accident at all? What if this place was always waiting for someone exactly like me?
That's the story for tonight. If this one gave you chills, hit subscribe. It really helps the channel grow, and there's plenty more like this coming your way soon. Let me know in the comments if you enjoy these rules horror stories. I read every single one of them. Stay safe. Don't answer voices calling your name after midnight. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.